Colonel Assumpico. Is this Trooper Taylor?
It is, yes, ma'am.
Oh, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing? I heard that Maj.Sanzi had given you a call, and you spoke with Lieutenant Colonel Philbin, and I just want to say how you doing. I haven't moved here, and they were telling me, and I'm just, how are things? You want to talk for a few minutes, or?
Yeah, absolutely. They're terrible.
Are you, I know you go through a lot, Jamie, but, how's your treatment going? How's your family? How are you?
I'm doing the best I can, Colonel, to be honest. I'm just, very disappointed in the way this is being handled. I think it's a total, it's not being handled properly. I mean, you guys are in possession of an expert report that you guys paid for, that the guy says I was assaulted. He backs up everything that I did. Everything that I have said has happened. And he says that I threw one punch too many, and that half a second, and that went beyond department policy. Which is totally ludicrous for that to even be stated. But getting back to the point, I was assaulted. Colonel O'Donnell dropped all the charges without even having the investigation started, and now your own expert says that I was assaulted, and he's not being held accountable.
Jamie, I know that's all the litigation, and it's really not something that we should even be talking about. You have to understand, I don't even know what report you're speaking about. I've never heard of that report. I've never even seen it. So, but you have litigation going on, so we can't just discuss this stuff with you. You wanna? I can understand you're upset, and I understand these things take time, and that's why we're checking in with you. I'm not familiar with any report, but we can't talk about it anyway, but I have to tell you that's the first time I'm hearing about a report.
Colonel, you're telling me that you have not read the Daigle report that was signed by your attorney, Paul Andrews?
No.
Okay, that's something you may want to look at, Colonel. And I know that there is litigation, okay, but as I spoke to Colonel Philbin earlier, okay, the Mass State Police is going through the same thing, and they're being sued by a trooper. And they did an independent investigation of what the prior colonel said, okay, and what the prior colonel did, and they found that he was in the wrong. And I don't understand why that's such a huge thing to do. Put aside the politics, or what the governor is saying, or what AG Kilmartin is saying, Colonel. These are two political appointees. We are the Rhode Island State Police. We're supposed to investigate, look at all the evidence, and do what is right. And that's not being done.
Jamie, like I said, that is litigation you're going through. Again, we're just calling up on you to check up on you. Again, I'm not familiar with your case. That had already happened prior to me.
Are you there, Colonel?
Yes, I think you hit a bad spot. Jamie, we're just checking in with you, that's all. That's what we have to do from this end.
Colonel, I appreciate you checking in on me, okay? I just want to make something clear, okay? And I was assaulted. The person was charged. I was never consulted about the charges being dropped or the expert witness, as far as the expert witness paid for by the state police. He acknowledged that I was struck, okay? And you've stated previously to the union that you were going to investigate and hold your predecessor responsible. Is that something that you are now saying that you're not doing?
Jamie, like I said, we're just checking on your well-being, and I'm not going to discuss anything like that. So listen, look, I just want to make sure you're doing okay, but...
Colonel, I'm not doing okay. I am not doing okay. And you people are dropping the ball. You're avoiding it over politics. The colonel perjured himself under oath in his deposition, okay? And I have numerous witnesses to verify that. So a crime has been committed, okay? What happens when a crime is reported? You guys investigate, you look at all the evidence, and you make a decision on whether there's probable cause or not to charge. No one is doing that in this case, Colonel. And you're going to force my hand, and I'm going to go to the FBI, and I'm going to have them investigate.
Jamie, that's a civil suit that you're going through.
It has nothing to do with the civil suit, Colonel. If I wasn't suing them, you wouldn't be doing this. I chose to sue them. I chose to sue them.
All right, Jamie. All right, listen. I'm going to let you go. All right, we're just checking up on you.
You're checking up on me, and your answer was, I'm not okay. So what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with what I just told you? Nothing, right?
Jamie?
Yes.
It's Tim Sanzi.
Yes, sir.
Look, there's two things going on here, okay? There's one that we are concerned about you as Jamie Donnelly-Taylor, okay?
Yep.
And I think you're well aware of that. There's a separate thing going on here that myself, the Colonel, and Lieutenant Colonel Philbin, despite our responsibilities in the command staff now, there's wheels in motion in the courts that are addressing the things you're getting frustrated with.
They're not, because the Attorney General is lying. We were in front of the Supreme Court 2 weeks ago when she had that report in her possession that said I was assaulted, and she did not disclaim that to the justices who are deciding whether I'm going to be indemnified for $2.25 million or not. I think that's a rather important thing.
Okay. When you tell us you're not okay, are we talking about you're personally not okay because of,
Don't try to spin this, please. You know why I'm not okay.
Hey, Jamie, I'm not trying to spin anything. I'm trying to help you.
You're not trying to help me. You guys are not trying to help me. You are not doing anything.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's a fair statement.
Okay.
Okay? Because, you're talking to some. I've never even brought up the case or anything, nor do I want to discuss it.
Well, that's a problem, because you should want to discuss it. The Colonel of the State Police ordered me to take a plea so I wouldn't embarrass the job, which I did. And in return, he said he was going to cover me civilly, which he's not doing. And he ran a deposition and he lied, and he said he never spoke about indemnification. You can talk to John Howard, you can talk to Kevin Grace, you can talk to anybody.
Deposition, the things you're talking about, they're going to have their course in court. Correct? And that is your avenue for relief, correct?
Sir, there's more than an avenue of relief. There's you guys looking into what the old colonel did and saying, hey, there was some screw-ups here, there were some problems, and we need to revisit this. Rebecca Partington is running this whole case and doing everything to protect themselves. She's going into one court and saying I was assaulted, and she's going into another court saying I'm the one that did the assaulting.
Jamie, I just got a question for you. You have a lawsuit pending against Colonel O'Donnell, correct?
Yes, I do, Colonel.
I know. Why don't we let that play? Jamie, believe me, I think I've been there with the whole. I understand what you're going through. I understand your frustration. We all do.
It's not frustration, Colonel. It's not frustration. This is my life. This is my life.
That's why we're calling to check on you.
And I'm telling you, I want you guys to do something, and you're not.
Jamie, what can we do right now?
What can you do right now? This is what you can do right now. You can get the Daigle report and you can look at it. And you can go to paragraph 54 of his summation and say, look, read everything that he said and said, I did observe this trooper being assaulted. Okay, you can do that, and then you can go back to the AG's testimony to Judge Caparo in the grand jury proceedings, where they tell the judge and they tell the grand jury that I led Monsanto to the cell block and assaulted him. Never that he assaulted me, never that I defended myself, never that I threw one too many punches. And then you can look at Steve O'Donnell's deposition and see where he says, I never spoke about indemnification to Trooper Taylor. And you can talk to 5 other people who are going to tell you the exact opposite. Because why would I plead to a charge I knew I wasn't guilty of and put myself off of civil responsibility if he didn't tell me I was going to be covered by the job? When do police officers ever plead to a charge? They get 2 bites at the apple. You guys all know that. You all know I'm getting railroaded and I'm a scapegoat in this, and you're sitting on your hands.
Jamie, when did you get a hold of the Daigle report? How long have you had it?
We just got it 3 weeks ago. Paul Andrews signed the goddamn thing, and you guys wrote the check to it. Don't tell me you didn't see the Daigle report, please. The union sent it out to the whole union body, literally
We have not seen the Daigle report.
Well, you need to read it. You need to read it. Paul Andrews' signature is on the report.
It's a product that the Attorney General's office requested as part of the case. It's not something that was directed by the superintendent or a designee of the superintendent, the AG's office.
He spoke to Derek Borick, who confirmed something that I said, and it's in that report. And you're going to tell me that you guys don't know what he spoke to them about, or you have no input into that report?
That's what we're telling you.
Well, that's great, because in his report, he says that last punch went outside policies and procedures of the RI State Police. How would he come to that decision if you guys didn't read the report?
Because the policies and procedures can be observed and reviewed by anybody, especially somebody who's in a civil litigation.
That's fine, but I didn't know civilians were in the job of determining whether our policies and procedures were followed or not. I thought that was held up to you guys.
Oh, our attorney does. Well, yeah, but the attorney gets requests on, the stuff is public.
I get it. We're spinning our wheels here, guys. I'm fired up.
Jamie, come on, that's not fair. Look, I spoke to you this morning. I understand your level of frustration to the point where, like I said this morning, I would speak to Lieutenant Colonel Philbin and the Colonel about this. And now we're discussing it with you, Jamie. That's not a fair statement. There's no spin here. What we're trying to tell you is that there's two separate lanes here. I think you think that we have more influence in one lane than we do another, and I'm telling you that we don't.
You guys are the state police. You investigate things. That's your job. You're not political appointees other than the colonel, okay? And you're supposed to do what's right. And you guys aren't doing that. You're letting politics come in the way of what's being...
Jamie, let me ask you one. Hey, Jamie, I have a question. I'm trying to... I was wondering where the union has this. Have they given you any advice? Have they said anything to you?
About what? Yeah, they've asked to meet with the colonel on several occasions, and I've been shot down.
By the union?
No, by the colonel.
What colonel? Which colonel?
I asked to speak with Colonel Assumpico about this over a year ago, and I was shot down, and I couldn't get anything out. Now this report reflects a lot of what I've been saying, and you people are telling me that you're not even looking at it. You're not even reading it. It's evidence in what I'm trying to say, and you're turning a blind eye to it.
Jamie, it's discoverable evidence requested from the Attorney General's office that it's pending in a lawsuit.
That's great, but that means what if I drop my lawsuit tomorrow and you're aware of wrongdoing? Does that mean we all just part ways and say, oh, well, we can't do anything about it?
David, what wrongdoing? What Colonel O'Donnell promised you? Is that the wrongdoing you're talking about?
The colonel told me to take the plea. He told me I could not go to trial because it would have been...
That.
What?
We weren't here in the room.
I understand that, but he put it right in my goddamn suspension letter. He put, in lieu of providing the video to the defendant, all charges were dropped. He broke the law. That defendant, Monsanto, has a right to that video. He can't just do that.
I wish we could speak on behalf of what happened there, Jamie, but we weren't involved and we weren't in the room when that took place. If that's in the agreement you signed with them.
So you're telling me if you're not present or you don't know, and you weren't there when something happens, that you guys are just going to turn away and walk away from it? You're not going to look into it?
I didn't say that at all.
Well,
I didn't say that at all.
That's what you're coming across as. You weren't there, so you don't have to deal with it.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
It is fair, sir. It is fair with all due respect, okay? The state police should be investigating this themselves. They should be looking into these claims that all these troopers and people are making, but they're not.
Jamie, I don't think you realize it. I know you don't realize how unbelievably frustrating this has been for all three of us, because our hands are tied, number one, and this is ongoing litigation. The AG has basically said, let's back off until it plays itself out.
Yeah, but that's what the AG is saying, sir, because I'm suing the AG. Of course they're going to say that. But what if you guys said, hey, look at this Daigle report. O'Donnell said that this kid wasn't assaulted. He said that he dropped all the charges before the investigation. Now your own expert says that he was assaulted. Shouldn't you guys ask questions? That's a pretty big deal.
Jamie, is that what exactly it says in the Daigle report, that you were assaulted? Does it say that word for word?
Yes, he said, slowing the video down, you can see Trooper Taylor, the speed at which the suspect spun with his right arm and struck Donnelly-Taylor's right arm into the cell block. And he goes through everything else that happened.
Jamie, I'm not even sure. I could call Becky Farrington down. I'm not even sure we're privy to that. We can't even look into that right now. I'm almost positive we can.
Well, I'm sure you guys have seen it or heard about it because it's out on the job. So it's public information at this point.
Jamie, just so to get just one thing on behalf of the crowd, because her and I spoke about when she took office, several things that had happened before were looked at. Some things not in depth, but several things were looked at. And don't think for a second if something goes on here, and I know you talk about Mass State Police, believe me, more than you know, because the colonel of Mass State Police grew up a street over me, so I know exactly what happened there. So if something does come up that we're going to look at, we will look at it. We have to let it play itself out. I know that sucks. Believe me, I know it does. But we have to let it play itself out. And it's starting to right now. That's where your frustration is coming from, which I completely understand, because you're privy to records now that you probably weren't able to read before. And it would piss anybody off to read that and be in your situation. Anybody. You know, Maj.Sanzi was just calling to check on you. We kind of want to stay away from talking. I know it's difficult. We're just concerned about you. Jim, you're a trooper here. We're concerned about your well-being. That's pretty obvious. I mean, we're very concerned about you.
And I'm not trying to spin that. Like I mentioned that before. I realize your level of frustration, anxiety is very high.
Yes.
I'm concerned about that. The colonel is. The lieutenant colonel is. You can take that for what it is, Jamie, but I'm calling you, okay? You're not calling us. I'm calling you, reaching out, because we are concerned about you.
And I gave you my answer, and you guys don't like it. Colonel Assumpico, can I ask you this question? Kevin Grace, when he... Yes.
Jamie, I want to interrupt you just for 1 second.
Yep.
Because you gave me an answer the first time this morning when we talked, and then this afternoon, you know, now you're raising your voice and you're saying, I'm not okay. I understand you're frustrated about the case, but the sincerity on my part is true. Because if we do care about you, and I don't want that overlooked.
I believe that. I believe that.
I know you really don't care right now, probably, because you want to get this other aspect resolved, but the path you're taking to get that done, I think you're going to just reach more frustration.
And Jamie, also,
we don't have any answers for you on that.
Jamie, also, because believe me, we all wish this went a different way, because you're a good trooper.
And you have, Colonel, you have the power. You have the power to make it right. You have the power to make it right. You guys make the decisions. You guys are the investigative body.
I don't think we do right now.
Well, I have to disagree with you. I think you're wrong, and I think you guys are making a big mistake. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
All right, Jamie. Listen, I hope things work out for you. We're just checking on your well-being. We are concerned about you, and it is in litigation, and it's going to have to play itself out at this point.
That's fine, Colonel. You've been made aware of the facts. If you guys choose to do nothing with them, I can't force you. So that's as long as you know what's going on. That's all I can say, I guess.
All right, Jamie.
Have a good day.
And Evie's just over there strutting her stuff. Look at her, posing for the camera.